Good afternoon. So as things progress in what we're seeing, not just here in the United States, but gathering steam around the world, well, this is for lots of reasons, and it's not because some group has paid some other group to do it exclusively. It's not that simple. I know that everybody wants to classify it as that it's a cabal against a cabal, but there's actually a real issue going on as well. You see, as above, so below for those that would call themselves the elite. As above, so below for them is quite different than Christ saying, on earth as it is in heaven. Everything is usurped, even that line. The word love and the meaning of it has been usurped by the world. People don't even know what love really is. The revealing is coming so quickly with all of these things, and it's only seen by those that have eyes to see. And you are witnessing that. Because what is taking place right now on the ground with these riots, when you see these looters looting banks and stores, they're looting everything. They're like, oh my gosh, look at them stealing something that isn't theirs. But at the same time, the federal government has been looting you at a level that is unimaginable to most of you. You can't even comprehend the number. $10 trillion from your babies and your babies' 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 babies. Every generation in the future will be enslaved by it, and more coming, in ways that make you look free, even though you haven't been. Because everything that you thought was true and good is evil. There's a reason why the tree of life has a sword spinning fire in both directions. They will make sure you don't find that tree of life if they can have anything to do with it. They would rather you attached and eating from the tree of good and evil, the knowledge of good and evil, because there really isn't good and evil. It's manufactured. The Matrix, as most of you know it, is them leading these people into a value center, a value system that doesn't comply with you. Every issue we have on earth today, in every country, especially in this one, every single one of them, you can find the root all the way down to the monetary system and money, the image of the beast. Money is the image of the beast, and the beast is government, totalitarian. And if you doubt the United States had an intention always of being a fascist country, well, you can simply take a look at Lincoln and Congress and see all of their signs. But what really people don't even know is what really is a fascist government. Well, a fascist government is corporate government. It's a business. And the businesses, the quote, private companies, become part of that cabal, which is why you're seeing all of small businesses, truly small businesses, being wiped out and the middle class destroyed. But at the same time, people say, look at the economy, how good it's doing. The stock market's doing so great. Well, yeah, they just pumped $10 trillion into their fascist organizations. All of those organizations getting bailouts are becoming attached to the fascist government. They are now reliant upon them because these governments own them, all of them, but really only one government. It's ours because we control and house the Fed. And currently the Fed is the source of the misery, although it's a very twisted and tangled banking system all the way up to BIS, Bank of International Settlements, in Switzerland. That's where all their homes are as well. That's where all the gold is hidden as well. It's where all the things of real value are hidden, which is why Switzerland stays out of everything. They don't want to get involved and put all of those assets in jeopardy. So understand this and make no question about it. The people that are fighting in the government aren't fighting over a fascist government or a free government. They're fighting over who's going to run the fascist world system. This is no different than different divisions within a corporation fighting for who is more valuable and who really runs the show from the top down. Because when you're in that position, the fleecing that you can do is significant. So watch what is taking place today with the protests, because they begin always good. Everything is usurped. So now you see these crowds beginning to listen to people giving speeches. Now they become infiltrated. Beautiful jet black butterfly. Huge. Jet black, not another color on them. Oddly enough, I'm wearing white today. Now you're starting to understand the reason. I'll let you figure that one out on your own. How about we just call that a mystery for a little while? But what we're watching taking place right now before our very eyes is an illusion that is so grand, like the government adding more jobs than history. Well, that's not that people actually got employed yet. They simply made the funds available for new job creation. That doesn't mean they're hired. So think about when you have individual states, like even the state of California, that are going to be hiring 1 million contact tracers. Trust me, that's still coming. COVID-19 is long from being over. Make no mistake about it. They will bring that back with force and a vengeance, and the timing will be just perfect for them. But all of this to recognize the miserable things going on in the world is, again, yet to confirm that the things that I've said and the things that you've discovered on your own as a result of things that I've said, that those things get to confirm and solidify the truth within you. That now you begin to stand with authority. You begin to think and understand with authority. And more importantly, you can now separate what has ailed human beings and love them aside from that. Even the ones that are on the other side of whatever side you're on, there is tribalism happening. What you're experiencing right now is groupthink. All of these different group thoughts. You see so much happening, and they're trying to assemble these group thoughts. This is about creating tribes of thought and belief, and then advancing what they have towards the other one and getting them to join forces. So something that comes off as a racist murder that really is speaking volumes to what's been taking place within the police department and the militarization of police and the racist aspect of police. Yes, they do what you're watching them do. The difference is it's not always just to blacks, although that happens all the time to blacks just because they're black. I've watched, I've experienced it, I've seen it. But it definitely happens to white folks too, because anyone that is defying their authority, the self-thought authority that they have, not a legal authority, because they actually don't have more authority than you do at all. So to call them the authority, no, they're just eyes and ears and actionaries for that authority. And so are you if you choose to. It's like the media. Who's the media? Do you have to have press credentials to be the media? No. The law doesn't state that. The Constitution doesn't state that. If you have a camera and you're interested in the news and you plan on sharing it with others as news, well, you're media. The illusions that we've set up in our head are fear illusions about you can't do that, you can't do that, you must have a certificate for that. Rules, laws, authoritarianism, fascism. Don't go against the company policy. This is a corporation. Now, what is life? Boy, because that good and evil one is absolutely there. We're living it. But what is life? I don't know. Ask the Hopi. Ask the native tribes. They know what life is. They've been living it, even amongst us, because even then they refused to be a part of the system. They refused to be a part of it, even though many of them are corrupted by it. Casinos, money, all of it. But many aren't. The Hopi are very rare in that way. This is why you can learn a lot from them. And their prophecies speak of what's happening right now. Again, anytime something new happens, go back and revisit the things that you've learned and see where it fits within what you're seeing right now. Just like the words of Christ, go back right now and read the Gospels again and understand who he represents and what he was doing. He was saying the same things I'm saying right now. He was telling you about the government and how their oral law and those oral traditions, all of the things that we're experiencing today. He was telling you that the Pharisees and the Sadducees were the Talmudists that are running things today. He was telling you that they were using Roman Babylonian magic. He was showing you that they would be doing that today. And he was telling you exactly what it would look like. But most importantly, he was telling you to free yourself from all of their lies and all of the construct, everything that was put before you as to what a good societal member was, or what a good white person was, or what a good black person is. All of these different ideas are pictures. They are graven images, including the life most of us have led is a graven image. A picture painted in our minds that we're trying to live up to and satisfy our brothers and sisters and mothers and fathers and make people think, look at us, look at me. Oh, what a terrible thing. And so people can look upon another person just like people look upon me and think, he can't be good, because they can't. They can never imagine me being something that they can't be. Because they've built a graven image inside of themselves about who they are, and that image never contained anything remotely like what they're receiving from someone like me. So when it doesn't comply with that graven image, now when they destroy that graven image, and they go back to their root, back to their own Adam, and they live again, and they walk through who he becomes or who you become. What is the intention of your soul? Because when you act and operate with intention, the intention is incredibly powerful. Now think about this though. When you have a picture of what you're trying to be, you can be intentional. And so what happens when that picture must be destroyed? Oh, well, we get right to painting a new one. People say, I want to walk and talk just like Jesus and be just like Jesus. Well, interesting. That's a picture. It's yet another graven image. What would he do here? What would he say? How would he look? How would he stand? How would he dress? How would he address people? And so what do? You revert back to everybody that you've seen. More graven images. Pictures that they showed you of Jesus, this white European Jesus. Well, that certainly wasn't what Jesus would look like then. Not at all. He definitely would have been darker. So I could go through so much stuff and inundate your mind on a minute-by-minute basis. It's not helpful. What is helpful right now is for you to even see more about the graven image. They're everywhere. Everything is intended to teach you in groupthink. It's intended to create tribalism so then they can create tribal wars. They've understood how they could do this. They learned how to create tribal wars with the natives of North America. They knew how to turn them against each other. They weren't slaughtering each other before we got here. That came through a motivation of things and graven images. Hey, this is what we'll build for you. Look at this. Graven images. Living absent of those doesn't mean that you abandon them. It doesn't mean that I stop buying something from the store. The difference is I fully understand that that store isn't helpful. It might be helpful right this second, but it isn't helpful. Because if I am supporting large systems that are part of that indoctrination, this is a problem. So we begin pulling ourselves away from that, leaving the system to not be banking, to not do those things. This is a process that takes some adjustments for you, but this is part of freeing yourself. And it is part of freeing yourself from their tyranny, because if they don't have those systems to use against you and to threaten to take away from you, well, then they're almost powerless, and the only power they have over you at that point will be the power to destroy you and kill you physically, which that time will come for many, many. All of these things, though, that you're seeing right now with these riots, think about something. When you see rioters looting a bank, taking money, are they taking anything of value? You think so in your head because it can buy something of value. Well, begin to think a little bit deeper about what is harmful and what isn't harmful. If money itself is worth nothing, and it's only worth a belief system, and it's stolen from a bank which printed it from thin air, then they stole nothing but the paper that it was printed on, not the value that is believed it is to be. But yet they will prosecute and even kill somebody for taking something that has zero value, because once it's taken from a bank, you know how they put it back. They just type in the zeros. In fact, the cash really never left, even though someone took it. This is a problem. They don't like you stealing their stuff because it messes with their algorithms. It has nothing to do with it being valuable. It's not. And since that money's taken from a bank, there are no losses. Zero. No such thing as a loss, and no harm. None whatsoever. Even to repair the bank. Zero harm. Cost them nothing except time. And actually helped somebody, because somebody else got to eat some food because they got to repair that. What I'm talking about is looking at things in the depth of their true value and true harm, not the ones they tell you they are, the ones that you would be held accountable for after this life. That's truly causing the harm. Robbing a bank and stealing $1 million from a bank, you stole nothing. You stole nothing of value. You harmed no one. Now, stealing money from a family, well, they earned that money. So that money is a value center where they bled sweat and tears to obtain that. And it represents how they feed themselves. It changes its power structure at that point. Once you've earned it, it is your value. However, you don't own that value. They still own it because it's a note. That keeps you reliant upon their system. $1 note, it says on it. Note is a dead instrument. It's not attached to any value. It simply represents the blood, sweat, and tears that you put in, whatever you did, whatever you created, whatever you helped build. However you earned that. That's the value of that dollar. But in a bank, and in the Federal Reserve, and in the government's hands, it's valueless. It's only valuable when you're involved in it. So you understand the power that you give it. The power that you give something that has no power. You've sacrificed it all. And now it's time to take it back. I love you very much. I'll talk to you soon.